The Hill has an article where they claim establishment Democrats are actually warming to Bernie Sanders. Well, that would be quite a development. So let's see what they have to say. Democrats previously reticent to welcoming Senator Bernie Sanders into their fold are coming around. More than a dozen Democrats interviewed by The Hill say the Vermont Independent has become a powerful and welcome voice for a party struggling to find its identity after a devastating defeat in 2016. While misgivings remain about giving too much leadership to a politician who technically isn't a Democrat, a clear warming trend is on the rise. During the primary, some Democrats worried that Sanders, a self-described Democratic socialist, was pushing the party too far to the left. That's adorable. Others mocked him for being a one-issue candidate who championed what they called unrealistic proposals like free college tuition. All right, let me pause because I can't take it. We still have more to get to, but let's reflect on the silliness of what we've read so far. So, to the idea that he's moving the party too far to the left. Ugh. Do any of you look at polling? So, we discussed it. There was a Vox poll, a poll commissioned by Vox, done by, I think, SurveyMonkey, who's a well-known polling outlet, and they found, wow, Bernie Sanders' positions are incredibly popular. And to me, it's like, I don't know how people haven't fully embraced this yet and haven't filed it in the duh category. Because for all the establishment chatter and the mainstream talking points about how, oh, he's so far left, he's such an extremist, that's just, it's factually not true, and I need you all to stop embarrassing yourselves if you believe that. If you're calling Bernie Sanders far left, then you're also calling the American people far left, because on almost every issue, he has a strong majority on his side. So what the Democrats are effectively saying is, I don't know if we should really be that popular. We should probably try to be more unpopular for a while. And then to the idea of like, pie in the sky, he wants things that are unrealistic, like free college. Jackasses. It's a very, very common thing in modern nations to have free college. You do know we have, for example, free high school. Like, they think like, oh my God, that's not even possible. I mean, what a wacky idea. It's just, we've never seen anything like it or any similar models, except that we have the exact same model when it comes to high school, when it comes to middle school, when it comes to elementary school. So what do you mean? Like, oh, it's so crazy. Slovenia has free college. I rest my case. We're gonna go around and say we're number one in the world. We do everything so great. It's amazing. We're really great. But oh yeah, we can't do that thing that Slovenia managed to figure out how to do. So should we just call it the Slovenian dream from now on? Or the American dream? Oh, the American dream. You give people an opportunity and a chance. It's equal opportunity, and then they can make it. Well, what they're saying is no, we don't want that. It's the Slovenian dream because they offer college. Here we have a student loan debt crisis. Over $1 trillion in student loan debt. We have some senior citizens who are still paying off student loans. You can't even file for bankruptcy on it. It's like the one kind of debt that just never goes away. So you want to talk about a gross, rotting, sick system. Here it is right here. Okay, let's continue and you'll see what other silliness they throw at Bernie Sanders. And he angered some Clinton allies who felt he stayed in the race too long and cut into her message and campaign coffers. At least some Clinton supporters think Sanders deserves a part of the blame for Clinton's loss to Donald Trump in the general election. All right, pause again. Perhaps you should get mad at Hillary Clinton for doing the things that Bernie accurately pointed out that she did. It's not Bernie's fault that she supported NAFTA. It's not Bernie's fault that she pushed for the TPP 45 times. It's not Bernie's fault that she voted for the Iraq War and voted for the Patriot Act and pushed for intervention in Libya, regime change in Libya. It's not Bernie's fault that she got over $600,000 for a couple speeches to Goldman Sachs. It's not Bernie's fault that the Clinton family has raised $3 billion in their careers. It's not his fault. But see, this is the corporate Democrat trick. Yell at Bernie Sanders, berate Bernie Sanders, scold Bernie Sanders for pointing out facts about Hillary Clinton. Well, those facts were going to come out either way. And remember, it was the corporate Democrats who said, look, you can't run Bernie Sanders in a general because there's so many skeletons in his closet that it's going to be his fault when he loses because the Republicans are going to point out all these skeletons and say, see, he's such a bad candidate. Then that's exactly what happens to Hillary Clinton, and they turn around and blame Bernie still. What the fuck? So her voting record, her decisions, her career, that was the problem. But now they scapegoat. They go, it's Bernie's fault. Even though Bernie was up on Trump 10 points on average. In some polls, he was up 15 points in the general election. He was mocked for having a voting base that's too white and too male. Meanwhile, who decided the election? Yes, white males in the Rust Belt. It was white males in what was supposed to be the Democratic firewall. Working class white people who voted for Obama twice. So you can't just say, they're all racist and sexist and that's the problem and that's, you got to shame them and just protect Hillary's image and her ego and say, Hillary, you're wonderful. No, it's not. It's that they thought Trump was more populist. So they voted for him. If it was Bernie versus Trump, they would have voted for Bernie. So again, their arguments just don't add up. They make no sense. And no matter what, the answer is always blame Bernie. That's always the answer. I forgot the question. The answer is blame Bernie. They say, and in recent weeks, former President Bill Clinton told new Democratic National Committee Chairman Tom Perez that he didn't want the Democratic Party to be simply the party of Bernie, according to a source familiar with that conversation. So that's Bill Clinton basically hanging on for dear life through gritted teeth and a heavy heart, saying, I don't want the party to leave me and my wife and our neoliberalism behind. Which means what? What's the only logical conclusion you could take away from this? The Clintons care more about themselves, their own careers, their own asses, than they do about the future of the Democratic Party. Because guess what, Billy Boy? It is exactly your philosophy. It's what you represent and it's what Hillary Clinton represents that has utterly destroyed the Democratic Party at every level of government. You had your run, buddy. The Democrats have been creeping in the neoliberal direction from the 1980s and onward. What has it gotten us? It's gotten us a party that's in bed with Wall Street, in bed with the military-industrial complex, in bed with Big Pharma. It's gotten us a party that has gotten wiped out to the point where a reality star buffoon who said, I grab him by the pussy, I don't even wait, is president of the United States. This terrible, grotesque Republican Party has a majority in the Senate, a majority in the House of Representatives. They have a majority of state legislatures, and they have most governorships. So you don't even have a majority of fucking dog catchers, and you're out there, you think you should have a say in what direction the Democratic Party goes in? You should be kicked out of the Democratic Party. But see, this is what happens. It's so clear that all the energy is behind Bernie Sanders and a real progressive wave in the country that they went from, the corporate Democrats went from, no, we're not even going to allow Bernie Sanders to be part of what we're doing here, and him and his people can go kick rocks, take a long walk off a short pier, you stupid progressives. Stupid. And then they realized, there's like 13 of us if we decide to get rid of progressives. And there's only like 13 corporate Democrats. They're all in a Washington bubble. And it's a house of cards. Like the corporate Democrats are a house of cards. They're just propped up by big money. That's the only thing that keeps them viable. The people are not actually with them. What, you think like Neera Tanden and Joe Manchin and people like that? People, Joe Manchin, I can't wait to go vote for him. Nobody likes him. Nobody likes these people. So then they realize, we can't beat Bernie and his wing, so now we got to join him. But what are they doing in the process of joining him? You have Bill Clinton saying, look, we'll let you in, but maybe you're not the whole party, and we still get to do our ideas. And no. This isn't a discussion. This isn't a conversation. You guys lost. Move the fuck on. When you get destroyed, when you get defeated, decimated, obliterated in any other job, do they say, we're going to have you in as an expert and you're going to show us, some of your tricks? No, if anything, you show us what you stand for so that we do the opposite of it. That's what it is. But no, they think they're still relevant. Like, no, we can't just be the party of Bernie. We can't just be the party that wants Medicare for all and wants a living wage and wants free college and wants to end the wars and wants to end the drug war and wants to re-regulate Wall Street and wants to only take money from middle-class people, regular people, and ban PAC money, ban corporate money. We can't just be a party that's actually principled. We have to be not principled too. No, go away. But I haven't even gotten to the best part yet. Let's continue, because this is what it's really about. Quote, other Democrats say that while Sanders will be helpful in rebuilding the party, they can't just rely on him going forward. One Democratic consultant who supported Clinton joked that it was the, quote, Bernie Band-Aid tour. We'll slap him over our problems, but fundamentally change nothing. Wow. Still, there are still some Democrats, particularly those who supported Clinton, who find Sanders' role offensive. You come out of the gate, and this is who you're dragging around with you, said one former DNC official. A majority of people supported Hillary Clinton in the primary, and making Bernie one of the main figures of the Democratic Party isn't going to do a damn bit of good. They tipped the scales behind the scenes against Bernie Sanders massively. We saw the DNC email leaks. That's why the corporate Democrats are flipping out, because it proves that they're scumbags and they're corrupt and they're corporatists. You have Debbie Wasserman Schultz pressuring the media saying, how about I talk to your boss because I don't like the coverage you're giving me and Hillary Clinton. We have in other leaks Hillary Clinton talking about how, the rich are so oppressed and there's this new bigotry against rich people in the country. You have her talking about, what we need is totally free and open trade borders. So in other words, put NAFTA and TPP and the WTO on steroids and let's outsource more jobs. So you look at what happened, the fact that they tried to hide the debates because they didn't want Bernie catching up and they saw he was catching up, the fact that they tried to atheist shame him in the Midwest because he was doing well in the polls, so they used a trick. They're like, well, I mean, people in the Midwest are religious. Hillary can play up how religious she is and kind of scold Bernie for being non-religious and bring it up. You see the way the sausage is made. You see how in some pro-Bernie districts in some states, they change the voting times so that fewer people would be able to vote. They cheered on closed primaries, which means they're cheering on locking out some people from voting. They don't want independents voting. They don't want millennials voting because when that happens, Bernie's more likely to win. So you see how screwed up they were. And then at the end, they come back and clutch their pearls like, oh, how dare Bernie say anything? Hillary won. She got most voters. And that's the end of the conversation. She got more voters. She was an A-list celebrity at the beginning, had total name recognition. He was a nobody senator from Vermont who like 18 political junkies knew, started with nothing in the polls, then somehow managed to get 47% of the vote and win 22 states against a political juggernaut, all while the DNC was rigging it against him. And you're going to talk about, she's so popular. She's not. That's why she lost to Donald Trump. Sure, she won the popular vote, but go ahead, try the same model again. What'll happen? You'll get a candidate that wins the popular vote, but loses the general election. You want to keep losing the general election? You want to keep losing the electoral college? Be my guest. We don't want to do that. We want to win. But they're so smug. I mean, they've been proven to be wrong. And they're still like, no. And they have nothing to say about the fact that Bernie was up 10 points on average in the polls against Trump, 15 points in some polls, that he specifically does well with the group that would have undercut Trump's support. He would have gotten those people in the Democratic firewall in the Rust Belt to vote for him because he's a strong populist candidate. He had people in fucking West Virginia praising him. West Virginia. He could have flipped some deep red states. But the biggest point is, like I told you just before, they want to call this, because Bernie's going around the country with Tom Perez and they're doing a unity tour for the DNC. They're calling it the Bernie Band-Aid tour. We'll slap him over our problems and fundamentally change nothing. So in other words, they're using Bernie as a figurehead. They're using Bernie as a mascot. They're saying, here, Bernie, go out there, we'll prop you up and you do your great speech about how we need to raise taxes on the rich and do something about this insane level of income inequality and make the minimum wage a living wage and bring back strong unions and do single payer and free college and end the wars and end the drug war and make us a thriving social democracy, get rid of the death penalty, all the great things Bernie stands for. You go out there and fight for this stuff. And we are going to, quote, fundamentally change nothing. So the corporate Democratic strategy used to be, we're going to use milquetoast, centrist, neoliberal language, like Hillary Clinton did. But then that didn't work. People went, we hate that. We hate it, we despise it, and that you're standing for nothing. You're just doing the corporation's bidding, and every now and then you sprinkle in some bare minimum progressive things like, hey, I'm now pro-gay marriage in fucking 2013. Oh, how progressive you are. I'm not going to ban abortion. Oh, it's so progressive, such a low bar. But now the corporate Democrats move from that to, we're going to use all the rhetoric of social democrats. You know, we're going to use all the rhetoric of the Green Party. We're going to use all the rhetoric of Justice Democrats and our revolution and brand new Congress. We're going to use all the rhetoric of strong progressives, but, quote, fundamentally change nothing. Look, here's the thing, man. If I'm Bernie Sanders, do I consider, hey, we're going to go do this unity thing with the DNC and Tom Perez? Here's where I consider. I consider it if they say, all right, thing number one is that vote we just took where we decided to keep taking corporate money, reversed. We're not taking corporate money. We're not taking PAC money. We're going to raise in small amounts from the people. We're going to really be a party of the people. If they say that, I go, okay, now you got my attention. Now I'll consider a unity tour with you. Then if they say, okay, you got it, we're going to adopt your platform and fight for these things, then you're not just talking the talk, then you're walking the walk. The main key is if they actually say, and they do it, hey, we're not going to take corporate money, we're not going to take PAC money, well, then I go, okay, you're serious. But if they keep taking corporate money and PAC money, well, then I can't trust anything else that they say or that they do. So you would need to adopt our platform, because it's the one that's popular and correct, and the overwhelming majority of the American people want it, and stop taking corporate and PAC money, and then I would do a unity tour with you. But no, unfortunately, they're still taking corporate money and PAC money, the DNC is, and they're just using Bernie as a mascot. And, you know, Bernie's either oblivious to it or he knows it, but he still thinks, well, this is as good as we're going to get and we have to meet him halfway. No, Bernie, we don't have to meet him halfway. In fact, it's the exact opposite. They need to get the fuck out of the way and let us do our thing, because if we do our thing, then we win. And then if we win, then we get these policies for the country. If we do even 50% of what they want us to do, we're going to lose. Because they stand for nothing. They're soulless, vacuous, vapid shells of human beings who only care about serving their donors. And they couldn't even bring themselves to vote against the DNC taking corporate cash when they just recently had a vote and they just had a corporate candidate who got wiped out. So no, Bernie, you tell them to take the unity tour and shove it up their ass until they start doing the right things. They're not doing it. He can come out and tell you, oh, they're doing it. Really? Tell Tom Perez, I need you to go out there right now, and say, I was 100% wrong to be pro-TPP. Not only am I against TPP, I'm against all future outsourcing trade deals. Is Tom Perez going to go out there and say that? Is Tom Perez going to go out there and say, I unequivocally denounce all illegal Israeli settlements? Is he going to say that? He's not going to say that, is he? Why? Because he's a corporate Democrat. And these are issues where he's been 100% wrong, and he will continue to be 100% wrong. Is he going to go out there and say, we're totally done with corporate money and PAC money? He's not. So why are you doing a unity tour? It's not a unity tour if they're saying, on core democratic issues, we disagree. Okay, then get the fuck out. What do you want me to tell you? Get the fuck out. I like how my voice cracked there. Hard to sound like a macho man when you're like, get the fuck out. But anyway, you get the point. I wouldn't do this unity tour. Look, there are going to be some people who would say, no, even if they change their ways, I'm not doing the unity tour. I don't agree with those people. My position is, I will do it with you if you do our platform, and if you say right now, no more corporate money, no more PAC money, because then you're actually changing your ways. Then it's proven. Then it's, oh, okay, we're actually going to walk the walk and not just talk the talk. If you do that, I'll do the unity tour with you. They didn't do that. Bernie's still doing it with them, which means Bernie Sanders is wrong. But it's okay. Because remember when Obama said it back in the day, you need to hold me accountable. Damn right, everybody did, because he turned out to be a very milquetoast neoliberal kind of guy. With Bernie Sanders, it's the same thing. You got to hold him accountable. That's it. You got to hold him accountable. I still love Bernie, of course I do. But you got to hold him accountable, and you got to understand the movement isn't about any one person. The movement is about all of us. It's a grassroots progressive uprising which wants to implement policies that the overwhelming majority of the American people support. That's what this is really about.